All right, Junkie Nation, Gorgeous Georgian Goes delivering another MMA superstar. This time we're joined by former MMA fighter and now current color commentator at Invicta FC. It's Julie Kedzie. Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's crazy to be on something without professional makeup or filters. So you guys are jerks.
Well, let's talk about Invicta on AXS TV, taking place Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on AXS TV, but also available across all the social media platforms, especially the YouTube channel. So go to invictafc.com so you can get those direct links. But very cool to see you guys spreading it out and make it available worldwide to so many people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Shannon's always had that kind of intention. I mean, from show one, she wanted to make it an accessible event. She wanted people to be able to see the fighters perform, to see the athletes in action. And, it's important for sponsorship and it's just important for their fans and developing a fan base. So I know that she always thinks about everything. Shannon's kind of a brilliant genius, but really making it accessible to the people at home, especially the loyal people to the Invicta, crew is. And we love it. We love being able to interact with people, and we love being able to continue going on and sharing the show with people.
Mm-hmm. And this week, you guys have really stacked the card. You have 2 title fights. One will be for the vacant title at the flyweight division. That's your main event, Rodriguez versus Turcado, Karina Rodriguez versus Delana Turcado. And then in the co-main event, we have Alicia Zapatella versus Jessica Delboni. We just talked to Alicia Zapatella. I've been very, very impressed by that athlete because she one thing that stood out was she said she's already met a lot of the goals that she's set for herself, and she's had to come up with a new list. You can tell she's got a championship mentality.
Oh, she totally does. It's interesting. In her fight leading up to Ashley Cummins, she had a lot stacked against her, and I don't think she had that going in mind at all. I mean, Ashley had been in the Invicta cage. She'd fought for a title before. It was more her stomping grounds in that particular arena. But Zapatella she read the situation, and she got that head and arm choke was just brilliant. I always just call them head and arm chokes. I know people yell at me for not saying Darce or I don't think that was a Darce. I think that was the other one, the Bravo choke. But, it was, I just like to say head and arm because I feel like it's more accessible. Again, I'm about accessibility too. But Zapatella, she's extraordinary. I mean, she's this tiny little package and she's got so much enthusiasm, so much drive, and so much talent. And seeing her face Delboni, I'm really excited about this fight. There's something about the atomweight division that it's magical, in my opinion. And they always defy the odds somehow. They just do incredible things in that division. So I'm an atomweight fan, and atomweight title fights are just fireworks. So yeah,
I'm an atomweight fan as well, and we were talking about not just this fight, but in one championship is having a Grand Prix, and so there's a big spotlight on atomweight this month. But I love it. In fact, going back, I've referenced this fight many times. It was Watterson against Penny, I believe. It was an atomweight fight for the title. I mean, they went at it, loved it, the action, and I'm glad that it's kind of starting to have a resurgence because those ladies they've delivered.
They have, and it sort of makes sense when the 115ers were called up to the UFC, when the strawweights were called up to the UFC, and they made a division for them. It sort of made sense that maybe some of the atomweights would go up there, especially if they were on the Ultimate Fighter show. And I know this is past, like it's been a few years since that happened, but it just, as you grow as an athlete and as you grow as a human being, you tend to amass more muscle, or you just kind of get better at cutting weight, and, through life experience, sometimes it's just harder to cut weight and you end up going up a division. But I think what we've seen from some of the straw weights in the UFC is how so many of them should be atomweights. And so I'm really happy that Invicta can provide a home for atomweights. That makes me very happy, as well as ONE FC. I mean, there's quite a few shows that on kind of the amateur level that also, I shouldn't say just amateur, there's also local fights. I can think of like some LFA fights and things. Atomweight, it's a good division, and it's been overlooked by the big show, but I don't know. It depends on what you define as a big show, because I feel like when fighters are in their proper weight class and, where they belong, they're the right size versus the right size. And I'm sorry, you're going to hear my dog in the background a little bit. She's making grumbly noises. But yeah, right size versus the right size, you're going to see the fight the way it's meant to be. And you're going to see the fighters a lot more equal and a lot more ready to deliver.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Rodriguez versus Turquado. That one's for the vacant title in the flyweight division. Yeah, Brazil is in the house. Mexico's in the house. Two big countries, sporting countries, but rich in history in combat sports as well. Has that also been something that you've noticed in Invicta over the years, where a lot of the fights that involve, some of these combat sports rich countries, like they have a higher profile? Does a lot of that pride come over as well to the fighters at Invicta?
I think so. If Rodriguez if she does win this belt on Friday, then she will actually be our first Mexican champion. We've had Brazilian champions before, but Rodriguez would be the first Invicta Mexican champion. And so that's kind of an extraordinary, a benchmark for her. But Invicta has actually, we're pretty good, again, Shannon's really, really good at this, at finding the places where, the fighters, maybe people don't know that much about them. Maybe there aren't, they don't know who this person is. And when they do find out, it's like they blow the world away. I'm thinking in terms of Mexican fighters, Alexa Grasso, right? Irene Aldana, these fighters who came in, people hadn't really heard of them before, except in their own countries. Also, in the atomweight division, Brazil, Erica DiBurcio, amazing fighter that people really were kind of writing off till they saw her performance against Watterson, actually, when she got the belt. So, it is, you do kind of see countries representing there, but for us, it's an exciting thing to always be able to have a more international card and to allow the world to see that, there is so much talent out there in these divisions and in the female divisions. And it's wonderful to be able to give them the opportunities to shine.
I'm glad you brought up shining, because I wanted to talk a little bit about the main event is always what kind of shines. It's what pops. But is there a particular fight that people may be overlooking, one that you feel like can't sleep on this one, this is going to deliver?
Well, it's like, this is a flyweight heavy card. There's 125 pound, there's a couple other divisions, of course, that are being represented, including atomweight, but there's a lot of 125ers. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of these fighters start to really build into stardom. I'm kind of thinking, and you're going to have to let me check my notes on this one, because I have so many notes going on. I apologize for this, but in looking at this, if you want something, I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see Josie Stortz versus Maria Favela, just because I am a little bit less familiar with these fighters, and it's flyweights that, I think that those two they pack some power, and they're just fascinating to watch. And then I'm also thinking, we've got some fighters who are debuting on this card. We're actually kind of starting the night, our card switched up a bit, which happens in COVID times. It happens all the time, but we're actually starting the night with two debuting fighters, with Elise Pone and Christy Yandoli. And they don't have that many MMA fights on record, but if you look at their kickboxing records, both of these fighters have some pretty legit kickboxing credentials to their names. And so, having done my sleuthing and my research and watching them, I think we're going to start the night off with a possible really big KO. And that's always exciting. So I would say top to bottom, the card's going to be good, but I think there's going to be implications for the flyweight department. Sorry, I just came from work. So the flyweight divisions and what's going to shake out in terms of title contention next. I think it's going to be a pretty big night for that.
I'm going to ask you to do something only because I know if I asked this person to do it, she wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Anna Knapp. Her place in history, I'm not sure that a lot of people know what she's done, not just for female mixed martial arts, but mixed martial arts overall. She's had a big footprint in it, but I don't know that she gets that shine that she should. Can you tell us a little bit about what Shannon Knapp means to you and what she's kind of meant to not just Invicta, but mixed martial arts?
Well, it's funny. You say she actually tends to avoid the spotlight, which I don't know why, because she gives incredible interviews and she's, really thoughtful and well-spoken and very professional. I'm usually like, bleh! And just letting all my emotions pour out. She's very good at staying reserved at times. But in terms of the sport of mixed martial arts, before I even began fighting, I knew her from like old Sherdog threads and stuff like that. It was like Boss's little sister Sherdog thread. Like people were talking about her influence and what she was doing and how she was developing this and that. But you know, in terms of the stuff that she's done behind the scenes, I mean, she's been involved with almost every major promotion. And she's done so much in terms of fighter development and fighter handling. You know, for me, it was 2012 when the first Invicta show happened. And she just called me out of the blue and said, you know, I like the way you talk. I like the way you say things about MMA, and let's go ahead and see if you like doing commentary. And I gave it a shot, and she kept me on. And all the mistakes that I made as a commentator, she still kept me on. When I retired, she gave me the job as matchmaker, and I had the chance to work as the matchmaker with Invicta for about 3 years. And then she really encouraged me to go. I was like, Shannon, I like doing this, but I have to get my brain working in a different direction because I'd always been writing. And so she encouraged me to go to graduate school, helped me out, kept me on as commentator. And so for me, I think a lot of times we look at mixed martial arts as entertainment and show. And a lot of people say a lot of things that you can't trust. But I know that at the end of the day, Shannon's going to be somebody who has your back. If she knows you, if you're in her circle, and you want to have her back too. You just want to do the best for her. What's extraordinary about Invicta is that we have gone through so many ups and downs, but she chose the exact right image for it, which is like the rising phoenix, right? It rises from the ashes. You can talk about metaphors and all these other things, or Harry Potter stuff. I don't know. But what's really incredible about that is it's exactly what the show does. We go through ups and downs and ups and downs. And when people are like sort of counting us out, that's when we explode with something brand new. She has so much in the works for how this company is going to progress forward. And she's just, I don't know, her plans are incredible. I'm very excited about her. I'm really excited that we made this switch. I like Anthem. I like AXS. And so just to see her and see the work that she's putting, she kind of puts herself aside and puts everybody else in front of her. And you don't always see that. And so I don't know, what she's created is a home for women in the sport, but more than that, like a platform for women to actually get the experience and to, I don't know, to let themselves develop, just like she did in my personal life. I can't say enough good stuff about her.
Yeah, we love her over here. I mean, she's done a lot for everyone. Look, in the COVID era, we've all had to make adjustments. We have our studio at Mandalay Bay. We haven't been there in a while. We do it from home. But you made a mistake. You brought up your dog.
I did.
So George has our dog.
You want to see your dog? Can you see your dog? We're dog lovers.
I have to bring her up here. Because
we thought she was like
no, she's come here, baby. She's just like
we thought she was like at your feet or something like that.
Yes, but she's at the bed at my feet. She's just laying. She's a Labrador, so she's like just 1 second.
All right.
Yeah, come on. Oh, I know you don't want to. I know. She's not a star like Bailey was. My old dog Cassius. Cassius Chamberlain. She's a silver lab. She is actually, the poor thing, she's got 2 torn ligaments in her knees. So, yeah, she's only 2, but she needs all this extensive surgery that who the hell can afford it.
Here's ours.
Oh my gosh.
His name is Max. He's on his 18th. He's on his 18th orbit around the sun, so he's an old timer, but he hangs out by my feet when we interview fighters. And when I heard your dog, I was like, oh, my dog was actually making a little noise at the same time.
Oh, I wish I could get her to perform better, but she's such a little, I shouldn't say swear words probably. She's such a little butthead. But I love her. She's just very high maintenance Labradors.
Yeah, when you brought up Shannon earlier, I've also gone on the underground, and I remember Boss's little sister. I remember her time with IFL and just all the organizations that she's consulted with, Strikeforce UFC. But I remember the first show, and I remember a good friend of ours, Stitch Duran, worked, and he came back so impressed at how prepared they were with basically buttoning up all the details. They really treated all the athletes, first class. He said because Stitch has obviously done boxing and MMA. He said, I was treated first class. And so ever since day one, the athletes have delivered, and that's why you've seen them, win world titles, not just in that promotion, but in other promotions. But Shannon Knapp is a definite Hall of Famer in our sport. And I'm glad you said those kind words. I was jealous of Ghost for asking the question because I wanted her to, I guess, get more attention in that regard. Because, you know, you get those awards every year, and let's face it, it's going to be hard to unseat Dana White as, you know, leading. I think they call it leading man, but obviously should be called leading person within the promotion. He'll be tough to unseat, but there's so many that do a good job. Shannon's one of them.
I think so too. And I think, you know, it's the mark of, I mean, if you're a promoter, are you promoting yourself or are you promoting your athletes? I mean, is it your show? Oh, my light just went out. It's probably better for my face anyway. But yeah, are you promoting your show or are you promoting your athletes, or are you trying to do something for yourself? Because, you know, MMA at its core, I understand it as an entertainment sport, but it's also athletes who are putting everything on the line, and it should always be about them. You know, that's where the focus should be. So I love that she's done that. I love that she's made that, you know, a very conscious effort to make that happen in the show.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Julie, thank you so much for your time today. There's going to be fun times on Friday night, Invicta on AXS TV. And again, folks, go to the website, invictafc.com, so you can get all the different links to the social media, because they will be streaming live worldwide on social media. YouTube channel, I'm sure, is a great way to start. But if you have DirecTV like Goz and I, go to AXS TV channel 340, check your local cable and satellite listings. 2 title fights, and it's been great to having you here on, you know, with us, Julie. You've done a lot for the sport as well, so I want to give you your props. We tried to interview you once when you were in the matchmaker role, but you were unavailable. But we wanted to talk to you for a while, and I think this might even be our first time. So thanks for the time, and thanks for your contributions to MMA as well.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't do interviews back then, but I'm back at it.